They looked like the American dream. 4 kids. A cozy home on the edge of Traer, Iowa, a town so small, even strangers waved. The lawn was always trimmed. A basketball hoop stood near the driveway. Photos lined their fridge, birthdays, Christmas mornings, and soccer trophies. On Sundays, they sat in the third pew of St. Paul's Lutheran Church, singing hymns as a family. To anyone looking in, the Coopers were blessed. Ryan and Karina, the perfect couple. He worked hard, she ran a local business. They were adored, admired, maybe even envied. But every picture-perfect life has shadows. And in this one, those shadows weren't just secrets. They were fatal. This is the true story of Karina Cooper, and how love, lies, and lust destroyed everything in its path. Traer, Iowa, isn't the kind of place where people lock their doors at night. It's a town of 1,600. The kind of place where if someone drives a new truck, everyone knows by sunset. That's what made Crown and Glory Karina's salon more than a business. It was a confession booth, a community hub. It wasn't just about curls and cuts. It was where women cried about cheating husbands, where teenagers whispered their dreams, where mothers sat, exhaling, just to feel seen. Karina had a way with people. She didn't just style hair, she nurtured people's spirits. She was known for remembering birthdays, praying with clients, and handing out hugs like candy. She built the shop herself, every piece, from the soft pink walls to the golden framed mirrors. People said walking in felt like stepping into Karina's soul. Her husband Ryan? He was the opposite of flashy. He liked routines. His job in agricultural management wasn't exciting, but it paid the bills. He was reliable. Home for dinner. Present for the kids. The kind of man who knew the serial number of every appliance in the house. Karina used to call him her rock. But over time, that rock began to feel like a weight. In the fall of 2020, Karina met someone. A new client. Houston Danker. He came in on a Wednesday. Tall. Tattoo. With a kind of confidence that made women sit up straighter. He wasn't from Traer. He worked in a nearby town, dirty hands, steel-toe boots, and a devil-may-care smirk. Karina asked the usual questions. What do you do? Married? Kids? No wife. No kids. Just a man with charm and time. They talked. Laughed. Flirted. And something shifted. Houston came back 2 weeks later. Then again. And again. Hair didn't need trimming that often. But that wasn't why he came. And Karina? She knew it. It started with harmless messages on Snapchat. Then inside jokes. Then late-night chats. Before long, she was checking her phone like a teenager. Smiling at texts that said things like, "Thinking of you," and "Wish you were mine." Houston wasn't Ryan. And that was the point. He was impulsive. Risky. Exciting. He made her feel 20 again. Before 4 kids and bedtime stories and small-town predictability. Soon they were sharing nudes. Voice notes. Secrets. But this wasn't just an affair. It was an alternate universe. They created a life in messages. They picked baby names. Chose paint colors. Made Pinterest boards about barn weddings and farmhouses with wraparound porches. Karina told him she wanted twins. They even discussed IVF. She was living 2 lives. To the town, she was still Karina Cooper, devoted wife, supermom, small business hero. But behind the scenes, she was spiraling. Creating fake pregnancy tests. Booking consultations for a life that didn't exist. She even started buying things for the new house, kept hidden in the back of her closet. But there was one big obstacle, Ryan. Divorce would mean explaining herself. Admitting failure. Facing custody battles. Community judgment. It would mean losing the house, maybe the kids, probably the salon. In her mind, Ryan wasn't just a husband. He was the enemy of her freedom. So she came to a dark, irreversible decision. She wouldn't leave Ryan, She would eliminate him. June 16, 2021, was supposed to be just another Wednesday. Ryan went to work early. Sent Karina a text mid-morning asking if they needed anything from the store. He bought milk. He brought flowers. She didn't smile. That night they had dinner, spaghetti. Ryan complimented her cooking. He helped their youngest brush her teeth. At 9:15 p.m., Karina read a story to their middle child and tucked her in. By 10:30, the house was silent. The kids were asleep. Ryan was lying in bed, glasses on, reading a Tom Clancy novel. Karina entered the room at 10:47 p.m. She was holding a small .380 handgun. She didn't say a word. The first shot struck his cheek. The second obliterated his jaw. He was dead before the book hit the floor. She stood there, breathing, watching, then calmly walked to the salon next door. She hid the weapon in a drawer beneath curling irons. Wiped it. But not well enough. At 11:02 p.m., she dialed 911. The call is haunting. She's crying. But the tears sound hollow. Her voice is steady. Too steady. "There's been a break-in," she says. "My husband, he's not breathing." Officers arrived quickly. The front door was closed. Locked. No broken windows. No sign of forced entry. No footprints. No valuables missing. Something didn't add up. The murder weapon? Registered to Karina. It had been wiped, but prints still clung to the metal. Gunshot residue was on her sleeve. And worse, a security camera across the street captured her entering the house at exactly 10:47 p.m. No one else came or went. When questioned, Karina said the footage was doctored. That maybe someone broke in earlier and waited. She accused the police of bias. Said she was being framed. But police had her phone. And what they found inside it shattered her defense. There were over 2,000 messages exchanged between Karina and Houston in just 6 months. Some were romantic. Others were graphic. But many were chilling. "I'm tired of waiting," she wrote in one. "Soon we'll be free. I hate sleeping next to him. It makes my skin crawl. He doesn't deserve to breathe the same air." She sent Houston a photo of a pregnancy test with a heart emoji. It wasn't real. But it was meant to trap him in the fantasy. A countdown app on her phone read, 2 days to freedom. It had been created 2 months earlier. The final message? "It's done." Sent just 14 minutes after Ryan was shot. Detectives interviewed Houston Danker. He claimed the entire relationship was just talk. Said he thought it was roleplay. That he didn't believe Karina would actually harm her husband. That he had no part in any plan. They found no proof he helped her. His alibi, verified. His phone, clean. His online footprint, cold. Police had no choice. He walked free. Karina didn't. She was arrested on June 23rd and charged with first-degree murder. The community was stunned. Shocked. Divided. Some believed Karina had snapped. That she was driven mad by small-town pressure. That Houston manipulated her. Others said she knew exactly what she was doing. That she was a narcissist who wanted to erase the life she built and start fresh. Like it was nothing. During the trial, her defense team painted Ryan as controlling. Cold. Distant. They said Karina felt like a prisoner in her own life. That her mental health had deteriorated. That she wasn't thinking clearly. But prosecutors weren't having it. They played audio messages. Read texts aloud. Displayed photos. They laid out the timeline with surgical precision. Every lie. Every step. Every manipulation. The jury listened. Took notes. Watched Karina. She didn't cry. Didn't speak. Didn't flinch when they showed Ryan's autopsy photos. After 9 days of testimony, the jury deliberated for just 5 hours. Guilty. She was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. In the courtroom, Ryan's parents wept. Their eldest grandchild sat silently, fists clenched. Karina never turned to look at them. She's now housed in the Iowa Correctional Institution for Women. She refuses interviews. She doesn't speak to inmates. She occasionally writes letters to her children, but they are returned unopened. The house was sold. The salon demolished. Her name wiped off the church roster. The children now live with Ryan's parents in another state, far from headlines, whispers, and questions. Houston disappeared. Deleted his social media. Rumors say he lives in Arizona now. Some say he changed his name. Every June 16th, Traer holds a candlelight vigil at the park where Ryan once coached youth soccer. A scholarship in his name helps local kids go to college. But the town hasn't healed. Some wounds don't close. People pass by the empty lot where the salon used to be and shake their heads, wondering how someone so loved could carry so much hate. How a smile could mask a monster. Karina wasn't a villain in a movie. She was your neighbor. Your friend. The woman who donated cookies to bake sales and cut hair for cancer patients. That's what makes it so terrifying. Evil doesn't always show up with a weapon. Sometimes it shows up in the mirror. Ryan Cooper trusted his wife. Slept beside her. Loved her. And that trust got him killed. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a crime of calculation. Of cold, quiet planning. Sometimes, the people closest to us are the ones who mean us harm. And sometimes, the scariest part of the story is how normal everything looked until it didn't. Subscribe to the Dark Dossier *** for more real-life stories where love turns lethal and the truth hides in plain sight.